Hello, today we're going to replace the bumper on the 2005 Suburban. Yep, looks like somebody played tag with my dive mobile. Looks like a trailer tongue probably caught me. A few other minor issues, so I'm going to replace it. Since I'm indoors, here's a few things that I think you'll be able to use. I'm indoors, I'm using a shop light because I'm going to be crawling underneath. I think you're also going to find it handy to have two screwdrivers, a small one and a regular size screwdriver. This is a 1/4 inch 10mm socket drive. That's going to be for the front grille. The 1/2 inch drive here with a short extension and a 15mm socket. Those I use for the 6 mounting bolts that hold the bumper assembly to the truck. And then this smaller 10mm ratchet I used for the fog lights. Pliers you'll see are going to be handy for the upper plastics. For the lower plastics, they're held on by clips. I'm going to end up using 2 of the Slim Jims out of this set. I just think these sets are handy. Most vehicles end up having some sort of a clip or interior part that this ends up being useful for. So let's pop the hood and get started. First thing you got to do is pull that radiator shroud off. Now you can see I've removed most of the clips already to save time. Got the heads popped up. That's what you're going to use the screwdriver for. You just lift those heads. Once you get the heads popped up, they're unlocked and they should remove fairly easily. You just pull them off and you can set those aside. And once you get those out of there, just go ahead and lift the shroud up and set that aside, and we're ready to work on the grill. Now the grill's held on in 7 places. You've got 4 of these 1/4 turn fasteners. The bottom ones are kind of hidden. I'm trying to give you a good shot here of where they are. And all you do is put a screwdriver in there, turn them counterclockwise, 1/4 turn, and they release. And you've also got a 10mm bolt close to the center. And then on each side you've got pressure tabs, push tabs that are holding the grill to the body. And those pull out fairly easily. So let's go ahead and get started on these. We'll start with the 10mm bolt. I'll speed it up a little to save time. We'll back that out. Once that's done, we can work on the 1/4 turn fastener. Again, counterclockwise a 1/4 turn. I've already done the other 3. You can see the grill comes off, and you just need to get those pressure tabs pulled out. Be gentle, and they pop right out. Let's go over to the passenger side. Piece of cake. Now let's go ahead and set this aside, and we can take a look at the top mounting bolts for the bumper. Again, these are 15mm, and now we have good access to them. Here's the first one. It's on the driver's side, and we've got another one over here on the passenger side. There's 4 more underneath, so we're going to need to go down below. Point those out to you. We'll start on the passenger side here. On the outside, we have bumper stabilizer bars. You can see I've already pulled the bolts out, and I've also already pulled the plug off of the fog light. So that's where the outer bolt goes. There's 2 inner bolts. This is the passenger side center, and this is the driver side center, also 15mm. And then the left side stabilizer, you can see bolts to the bracket on the bumper. So I've got all those off. The bumper right now is just barely hanging on the 2 top bolts, which I can easily pull out. They're already unscrewed. I'm going to pull those off, set them aside, and you can see now the bumper just kind of pulls away from the vehicle. So let's put it aside and get to work on disassembling everything. First, this is what you should see. You've got brackets, you've got fog lights, you can see the clips that are holding the bottom plastics on. There's 13 of those, and we'll just give you a full view of everything. You've got a center mounting bracket, and of course you've got a left side mounting bracket. So let's get started with the fog lights. That's the 10mm, and just go ahead and loosen those up. I'll go ahead and speed this up a little bit to save some time. Once you get those 10mm out of there, you can just lift the light out, and we'll go ahead and set that aside as well. Now these clips we'll get a close look at here. We'll just do one of them. once you get it started with the screwdriver, you can get the Slim Jim behind the head, and once you get it in there, then use the screwdriver to gently lift the head up. If you're careful with these, they'll survive. Fortunately, mine all did. So you just pop up the head of the thing, and then to get it out, you just squeeze the base. And once you do that, you should be able to push it through the anchor. And now you get the top of the clip off. Now you'll see there's still an anchor in there, and you're going to need to remove those. Once you get them all out, then you can lift the plastic up and wash it. Now, to get those bases out, once you've got the plastic off, you want to get those bases out. There's two ways you can do it. You can either gently squeeze it with a pair of pliers and just kind of push it through. Again, if you're careful with these things, hopefully they're going to survive for you. Mine all did. They looked good going in, and they came out and survived. So I was able to use them to reinstall. The other way you can get them out is with the Slim Jim I have has kind of a wedge fork, and it just sort of pops them right out nice and easy. So the wedge kind of collapses it, and you can lift it right off the bumper and set it aside for reuse. Mostly I just didn't want to take the time to hunt these things down and try to find them, so I wanted them to survive. Now that's the lower plastic. The upper plastic is held on by these friction push tabs. They're accordion style, so they're designed to be squeezed, collapsed for removal and pushed out. Same basic concept. You know, if you're careful with this stuff, it'll survive. Let me give you a close-up look at what these look like. So you can see the accordion design. When they're going on, it's very easy. You just kind of push them in, and they're friction held. Now let's get the mounting brackets out. This is the center bracket. Got 3 bolts holding it in place. Once you get those out, it should remove very easily. Mine were undamaged. So those are the outer brackets. Once you undo all that, here's the new bumper still wrapped up. So let's go ahead and unpack it and inspect it, make sure it looks good. The one I got, fortunately, was a very nice heavy bumper with good quality chrome. So I was very happy with it, and all the holes were essentially in the right place, so it lined up nicely. Now to get those clip bases on, you just pull them off the old bumper, put them on the new one in the same spots. Again, there's 13 of these, and once you get them all in place, it should look something like this. And once they're in place, you're ready to take your nice and clean, washed bottom plastic. Remember, we're upside down here, so this is your bottom plastic. And just kind of set it on there, get it lined up. And it makes sense to start in the center with these clips and work your way out. So this is the center clip. It went in very easily because the holes aligned, of course. And as you work your way out, if you find that the holes aren't perfectly aligned, they should be close. But if you need to give it a little pressure, I just used the little trim removal fork to push them down and then lock them in place. Okay, so that's basically how you get the plastics on. Now you've got your brackets you need to get in. This is one of the side brackets, and again, fortunately mine were not damaged. In fact, you can see it's so easy. I'm able to do everything with one hand while I hold the camera with the other hand. So hopefully it'll go that well for you as well. And once you get those in, again, you got to get our center bracket in. That's 3 bolts. So get your brackets all in place, and you're ready to go back on the vehicle. And again, you've got, remember this when we pulled it off? Well, it goes on the same way. But keep in mind now, when you put the new bumper on, leave the bolts loose, because what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to lift up the side, because these trucks are notorious for a bumper sag, which creates a gap that's not particularly attractive. So just put a little light jack pressure under it while the mounting bolts are loose. You don't have to do a lot. You can even do it against the plastics because you're not going to use a lot of pressure. You just jack it up a little bit too far while you torque down the mounting bolts. You're going to do it one side at a time, and then when you release the jack, it falls nicely. Hey, hope this helps you out. If so, hope you'll subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and maybe you can share this with somebody else that can use it. Thanks a lot, you guys.